So let's walk through an example of how this all comes together. So Hugo is going to turn age 35 in 25. And let's just assume his traditional IRA balance on December 31 was $441,003. He's unmarried. His sister, who turns 19 in 25, is the beneficiary of the IRA. And let's assume he wants to do a SOSAP. And let's assume he's using the entire IRA balance. Again, we're just doing an example here. He could siphon off some money and create it on a smaller amount. So what does this look like? So this is from CFS Tax Tools. This is their module. And you input the data, right? So the taxpayer's age, the beneficiary's age. Is the beneficiary the spouse? What's the first year? What's the IRA balance, right? And then what interest rate do you choose? And so it goes through each of the three methods and it calculates the amount. So the thing I love about this work paper is it's a very easy kind of put in some inputs and play with them, right? So a 2% interest rate obviously is low, right? So that's going to lower the amounts that are taken out in methods 2 and 3. So in method 1, the RMD method, the balance is 441,003. Now, depending on the table we choose, that changes the divisor. So the single life table for the RMD method is generally going to have the biggest payment amounts, whereas the joint life expectancy table is going to have the smallest amounts. And then the uniform life is generally going to be in the middle of those two. All right. But you can see that the RMD method is generally going to provide lower numbers than the fixed amortization or the fixed annuitization methods. And so again, we set the interest rate pretty low at 2%. They all kind of fall in the 11-ish to 13-ish $1,000 range, okay? Now, let's knock up the interest rate to 5%. RMD doesn't change because it's not based on the interest rates, right? But look at methods 2 and 3. The annual payments shoot up, even though all of the other factors are the same, right? So the interest rate is one way to control besides the account balance, right? And again, we have some flexibility with which table we use. With method 2, there's 3 options. With method 3, we can either use the single life or the joint life annuity factor. So options are abound.